Hi everyone, my name is Ashish and I'm a junior doctor working in the UK. In today's video, we'll be talking about how you can conduct a clinical audit. A clinical audit is absolutely necessary if you want to apply for a training post. So if you're a doctor who is coming to the UK to work here and you want to go for a training job later on in your desired specialty, you will need to conduct a clinical audit. And when I first came to the UK, I struggled with conducting a clinical audit because I was totally unaware of the process and I was totally unaware of this whole concept of a clinical audit. I graduated from All India Institute of Medical Sciences in India, and in my college there was no concept of conducting a clinical audit, so I was totally new to this. So I had to read up a lot of resources online, I had to speak to a lot of doctors, and then I conducted my first clinical audit. So to help you out with conducting a clinical audit, I've decided to make this 100% practical guide so that I can tell you each and every step and tell you all the resources which I used to conduct my first clinical audit so that you don't have to struggle with this. If you want to support my work, you can click on the like button, you can share this video as much as possible and subscribe to this channel. Let's start. The first step is to choose a topic. This topic can be any problem which you have faced while working in the hospital. This could be a problem in the ward, this could be a problem in the theatres if you are a surgeon, this could be a problem in A&E when you're working on calls. So this could be a problem anywhere in the system. So it's best to try to find out a problem and then try to think how you can make the system more efficient, and that's how you choose a topic. If you are new to the NHS, you will be struggling with finding a problem and a topic to conduct the clinical audit on. So you can either have a chat with other doctors, or you can have a chat with your clinical supervisor who is one of your consultants, or you can speak to the nurses, you can speak to the theatre staff, you can speak to radiographers or any of the other staffs just to find out what they are struggling with and how you can improve on a system. But if you're not able to find a topic, then there's a really nice resource which I used, and this resource is RCR Audit Live. This is a website by Royal College of Radiologists, and it unfortunately just contains audits related to radiology. But these are really good audits. These are the audits which other doctors have done in their hospital, and they have uploaded these audit documents to this website so that you can take the template from there and then you can repeat the same audit. So this is the resource which I used when I first started working in the NHS and I wanted to conduct a clinical audit. So this is the page and this is how it looks, and you can read that it is a collection of audit templates which provides a framework to identify best practice in key stages of the audit cycle covering over 100 radiology topics, and you can use this as a resource to conduct a clinical audit. So you can go to the search audit templates and then you can type in something related to the specialty if you want to do it very specialty specific. But if you don't want to do it very specialty specific and you want to go for more of a radiology audit, then you can just scroll through this page and see which one works for you. So I've gone through that page and then I picked up this audit, and the topic of this audit is foreign body radiography. The descriptor is presence of a localizing marker in radiography for presence of foreign bodies. Let's read the background. The correct identification and localization of a foreign body in a soft tissue wound can be difficult. Yeah. Several factors help with their identification on radiographs, and one of them is opaque localizing marker which is placed adjacent to the site of injury so that the reporting radiographer or radiologist can see the entry point or the wound, and then they know which is the area to specifically look for a foreign body. So that's why we are doing this audit, so that all of the films have an opaque localizing marker and that is not missed. Let's read what the cycle paragraph says. So the standard here is all radiographs that are obtained in order to identify a possible soft tissue foreign body should have a localizing marker adjacent to the site of injury or puncture wound, and the target is 100%. So 100% of radiographs or X-ray films should have an opaque localizing marker, and that's the standard which we need to follow for this audit. Let's read about the indicators. So we need to see the percentage of radiographs or X-ray films which have a localizing marker adjacent to the site of injury or puncture wound. And these are the data items which need to be collected. So we need to use the PACS system, which is the radiology computer system, to identify films performed for localization of foreign bodies, and for each radiographs or X-rays, we need to record whether there was an opaque localizing marker on that film or not. And we need to collect the last 100 radiographs or X-ray films for which the clinical request was for the identification of a possible soft tissue foreign body. And if the target is not met, that is, if 100% of those films didn't have an opaque localizing marker, then we need to present the audit results to the radiographers and radiologists, discuss the techniques, and circulate written recommendations on methods. And we need to ensure that there is a copy in the ED, which is the emergency department, radiology department. And we need to make sure that there are suitable opaque markers which are available within the department. And then we need to carry out a subsequent audit with the assistance and involvement of the radiology staff and referring emergency department physicians and emergency nurse practitioners. So it just says that we need to repeat it after we have made those changes and we have discussed our findings with the staff, and we have ensured that there was availability of those opaque markers in the department. The next step is to go to your hospital's audit department. Each hospital in the NHS has an audit department, so you won't struggle with this. And if you want to conduct an audit in some other country, then you might have to speak to your consultant, because there is no particular audit department, because there is no culture of conducting clinical audits in a lot of countries. So you'll have to speak to your consultant then. So this is the form which I filled, and you can see on this form that I need to put the title, the name of the project lead, who can be one of the consultants who you want to conduct this audit under. You need to put their registration number, which is the GMC number. You need to put the name of the author, which is yourself, your own GMC number, your department, and the hospital where the audit is registered. And I was working in a health board which had 4 hospitals, so I chose WGH, which is Vidyabush General Hospital, and I had to put my email address, mobile number, my bleep number, and the details of the audit team. And it was just me who was conducting this audit, so I was the only one in that team. The proposed start date, then the proposed end date, then I need to fill in other types of details, such as what is the type of the audit, and what is the scope of the audit, and what are the key objectives of this audit, what are the standards which I've used, which was the national guidelines or the Royal College of Radiologists guidelines, and I need to put in what are the criteria or standards which I was going for, and then I will be putting the methodology. Then I need to put in the details regarding the data collection, and then I finally need to sign on this document. I need to get the signature of my audit lead or the consultant under whom I'm doing this clinical audit, and then I need to submit this to the audit department, and they will review this form and then they will approve the request for conducting a clinical audit. The next step is collecting the data. So what I did was I spoke to the radiology department admin section or administrative section, and I asked them to give me a spreadsheet of details of the last 100 patients who have had an X-ray for query foreign body or foreign body identification. And they sent me the details of all those patients on an Excel sheet and they sent it to me on my work email, so I have had a look at it. This was the Excel sheet which I got, and it contained details of the patient's name, which I took off because I didn't need that. Then it had details of their date of birth. I took that off as well. Their gender, whether it was male or female, and I coded male as 1, female as 2. Then the sheet had details about attendance date. It had details about the examination or the radiographic examination they had. And then there was the report text, and I didn't really need all of those except the gender just to correlate. And then I made my own column, which was localizing marker adjacent to the site of injury or puncture wound present or not. So if it was present, then I coded it as 1. If it was absent, then I coded it as 0. So that's how an audit data collection sheet looks. So you can modify your own sheet as well according to your own needs, and then you can number code them so that it's easy to calculate things on the sheet. So what I did, I had a look at the patient's films, and I went to the hospital PAC system, which is the radiology system, and then I had a look at all these films, and then I filled this last section which I made, whether there was a localizing marker there or not. If there was 1, then I put 1. If there was no localizing marker, then I put 0. After this, I compiled all the results and I reached a percentage on how many X-ray films had that localizing marker, and then I formulated an action plan. So this is a sheet which I again got from the hospital audit section, and I had to put the audit title, the auditor's name, which was me, my department, and I had changed my department at that time because it was a long audit. Then the findings which I got, so I found that the compliance rate for the radiographers in terms of marking foreign bodies on X-rays with opaque markers was this much, which was less than 100%, and this was not compliant with the RCR guidelines. So I made some action plan on what I needed to do. So the proposed actions were discussion with the radiographers regarding the audit, and then dissemination of the information amongst radiographers, and to speak to them through PowerPoint presentations and posters, and to re-audit just to see whether the steps which I have taken improve the system or not. And I had to put in the proposed state of action, and then I had to put in what actions I took and whether I took the proposed actions or not, and when did I complete those actions. And then I had to put what benefits the audit was having on the system and other details. And then I had to put whether a re-audit is needed or not, and it was yes in my case. And after I completed this re-audit, I had to put whether I'll be presenting this audit and where will I be presenting this audit. So I put in departmental meeting. I didn't put conference or paper poster presentation because this is a common template which anyone can use, and there was no novelty in this. So I just decided to present it on a departmental meeting rather than publishing it somewhere. And then I put in the name of the project lead, I got their signature, and then submitted this action plan again to the audit department. So they analyzed it, they found out about the results which I had after my first cycle, and then they gave me permission to go for the next cycle. What I did next was I had a chat with the radiology admin section, and then they spoke to the radiographers and radiologists on when they can find some time for me to discuss these results with them. And they were very kind to give me a slot on one of the mornings from, I think it was a 1 hour slot from 8 to 9 o'clock. And then I presented all these findings to them. I had a discussion with them on why the compliance was not being achieved, and then I heard about all their problems. There was one of the problems that during night shifts, it can be a bit tough to put the opaque markers on all of them, and there could be a shortage of opaque markers at times and things like that. So I addressed all their issues. I've had a chat that these are the guidelines and we should always look up to following these guidelines. And after this, I circulated the presentation copies in hard copy format, and I made some posters. I put them all around the radiology department and especially in the X-ray room, so that all the radiographers were aware of this audit and that they had to always follow these guidelines and stick to them. So these were the actions which I took. After this, I conducted the second cycle. So I again went to the hospital's radiology department's administrative section, asked them for the details of the last 100 patients, and then I collected their data. Don't go with this image because I've just copied and pasted the same image, but my second sheet also looked like this. So what I did, I had a look at all those images again for other 100 patients, which were the last 100 patients when I started doing this audit for the second cycle. So then I collected all this data and then I'll compile this result, and then I found out how my teaching and putting up posters and discussions changed the system and how the compliance improved. So I evaluated the performance and then I presented this result in the departmental meeting as was put in the action plan for the audit. And once I did that, I got a certificate from the audit section that I had completed this audit, and there was a record that I improved the performance of a system and I made a system more efficient. And that is everything which I did. And that's how I completed a full audit with 2 cycles, which included the first audit cycle and then re-auditing it, just to see how much change was caused by taking all those steps. So that is all for this video. I hope that I was able to give you a detailed guide on how to conduct a clinical audit. And if you like this presentation and if you found this helpful, then click on the like button, share this video and subscribe to this channel. I will see you soon. Thanks a lot for watching.